I would say to know that many people, a quarter of Donald Trump's age, would not be able to withstand all this terrorism that he's being forced to endure.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Moving his fair. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here. Get ready.
We ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you, from what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured. He is holding up his arm. He is pumping his fist, but clearly Secret Service wants to get him out of this situation.
This is somebody in world history, particularly if you are an American. Apparently yesterday, July 13th, Saturday, July 13th, there was an assassination attempt made on former President Donald Trump. The identity of this retard has been revealed. This is Thomas Matthew Crooks, an appropriate last name, 20 years old. And I'll just show you some of the headlines that I find most amusing. So this is from the Washington Post, and it outlines his name, age, the school that he used, the high school that he used to attend, and also that he was a registered Republican. Mentioned that, right? Then he went on to investigation and so on and so on. What is it? This is USA Today. Age. Where is it? Yeah, age, name, Cook's background, voting, registered to vote as a Republican. All right? And then he went back all the way to his birthday, birthday, home address, and then went on to say how Crooks shot Trump. But what these two, let me see CNN. That's a CNN, 20 years old, also gave his age. It's funny that they didn't mention his race this time. I guess even they have a bit of sense, okay, we can't go that far, but let me show you something interesting. So age, give your name, high school, all right? Registered to vote as a Republican. Now, to CNN's credit this time, I've said this time because reports indicate that they had very suspect headings of the event shortly after, but I didn't see them myself, so let's give them a benefit of the doubt and say that those are, Photoshop or anything. It's difficult these days, and to see yourself to know exactly what is true. But at least CNN gave this bit of detail here. That Crooks gave a donation to a Democrat Political Action Committee. Notice that the previous two left-wing sites did not mention his affiliation or interaction with the Democrats. He just left it at he is a Republican, or he was registered to vote as a Republican. Now, if you are registered to vote as a Republican, you would think you would donate to Republican causes. So this sounds like a very simple sleight of hand that will catch equally stupid people like this. trying to paint it as him being a Republican. He is a Republican in the same way that Anna Navarro is a Republican in my mind. Republican in name only. Now, as I said, he's 20. They've been attacking Trump for about 10 years. They started from before or during the run-up to his election in 2016. So for about half of this guy's life, he's been hearing increasingly extremist rhetoric and narratives surrounding Trump and what the Trump presidency means.
A little bit this way, other way. That's it right there, pull it up.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
This is the first national election since January 6th. Insurrection placed a dagger at the throat of American democracy since that moment. We all know who Donald Trump is. The question we have to answer is, who are we?
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Think about that. You see, whenever The View and ABC, MSNBC, CNN, BBC, all of these, the Daily Show comedians, so-called comedians, celebrities, when all of these people make or continuously make these outlandish lies and slander, you think, okay, just bad because the 30-year-old and the 40-year-old, 50-year-olds won't take it that far because they've lived before Trump, through Trump, after Trump. They realize that yes, you may feel bad, but it won't take it that far. However, your brain or human brains aren't fully developed. The frontal cortex aren't fully developed until 25. So 10 years for us, mid-30s, 40s, 50s, is very different than 10 years to a 20-year-old. That's half of their entire life and their brain is still developing. They are 5 years old from being fully developed. So when you tell them that this is an existential threat to your democracy and World War III is going to happen and you're going to lock up people and your country is going to turn into a hellhole, I can see how one deranged person might say, well, why is no one taking this seriously? The size of the US population also has to be taken into account. There are over 30 million people in the US. The likelihood, the chances of some disturbed people living among you is very high, much higher than in Jamaica. So while it is already irresponsible for even our media to spew lies and propaganda and run defense for a political party, the chances of a deranged person being in Jamaica is 1 in under 3 million. Compare that to 330 million, you will have deranged people. And this is why it's critically important that the media do their job, tell the truth. Because if the media had dealt with the leftists and the Democrats the same way as they did with Biden after the debate, their country wouldn't be in this chaos and turmoil right now.
He said he's the only president in a while who didn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world. Troops have, of course, died on his watch. He said he's put in a $15 per shot cap on insulin and Medicare. It's a $35 a month cap. He said it's a $200 cap on overall drug spending in Medicare. It's $2,000 a year. He said the border now has fewer crossings than when Trump was in office. That's generally not true. He said, or at least strongly suggested, unemployment was at 15% when he took office. It was actually 6.4. He said Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Trump doesn't. He said billionaires pay 8.2% in taxes. It's much higher. He said Trump told Americans to inject bleach amid COVID. We know Trump made foolish comments about scientists studying disinfectant injection, but didn't frame it as advice to people. And Biden said the Border Patrol endorsed him. No, its union supported the border bill he'd supported, never endorsed him himself. In fairness, the president did appear to clarify that one. He said Nancy Pelosi turned down his offer of 10,000 National Guard troops on January 6th. There's no evidence she even got such an offer. It was the president, not Pelosi, who had the power to deploy the D.C. Guard. It was the president, not Pelosi, who had the power to deploy the D.C. Guard. He said Pelosi now acknowledges she turned down the troops. No, her office tells me this claim is still a lie. He said he deployed the National Guard to Minneapolis in 2020. Actually, that was the Democratic governor. It was the president, not Pelosi, who had the power to deploy the D.C. Guard. He said he deployed the National Guard to Minneapolis in 2020. Actually, that was the Democratic governor.
because at least they would show balance, and people, the citizens, I believe, will be far more balanced. But now the people are divided, severely divided. And speaking of the media, in my opinion, who will have the blame for this? Yes, we don't have all the information out yet, but given his age and the timing of it, is when the Democrat Party is at their worst in terms of support and likelihood of winning the election, and suddenly this happens. The smooth brains at CNN try to both sides the issue. Saying that because Trump said nasty things about Biden, then he's partially to blame for the escalation and the political division in their country. Nice try. But you see, if you notice, I am not blaming the politicians, even though the politicians are the one who started to spread this rumor of that damn corpse Nancy Pelosi talk about existential threat to democracy. It's not them I'm looking at. It is the media, because if the politicians made that claim and the media said actually that's not the case, this is not the case, this is a lie, this is an exaggeration, things would turn out differently. But the media did not do their job, and they acted as agents for one political party. That is my problem. So it's not that Biden and Pelosi and so on said these lies and slanderous things. It's that the media did not hold them to account for the better part of a decade. You know the funny thing about the Democrats, typically whenever they accuse someone else of something, it's what they do. So what about this incitement to violence thing? For years now, you've been dehumanizing the man. All his family, his base, his family. You've been stoking the flames of You've been looking at January 6th as some kind of massive insurrection, as if that's a problem, because your country, as far as I recall, was founded on an insurrection. So, weird now that the pigs are in charge, insurrection bad. But anyway, so they will go around incitement to violence and hateful rhetoric and rise of extremism and blah blah blah. But meanwhile, they're the ones doing the exact same thing, and this is most likely a consequence of it, because, as I said before, for this kid, half his life he was hearing about how much of an existential threat Trump is. I don't know about his parents, but if his parents are also liberal, then oh boy, the implication here is that they would have had a role in the death of their son, because they would have most likely repeated the same nonsense. So he heard it online, heard it in schools, heard it from his friends, came home, there's no counterbalance, heard it from his parents as well. That part is conjecture, though. There's no evidence for that as of making of this video. But anyway, I said this is a rather somber one. I'm glad that the attempt failed. I have no idea what the Democrats will do after this, because as far as I'm concerned, they have no choice but to lose in when the election, November? I think people say November. They have no choice, in my mind, because after all that they've done to the man, and this is what they facilitated, maybe not directly, even though there are reports out there that make it sound as if that conspiracy theory may not be quite so conspiratorial, but even if it's not directly, they had an indirect role in radicalizing this boy. And then for Trump to lose again in November, we have a bunch of 4 a.m. swing votes again, 100% going to Biden after all of this. This will create the civil war that they claim they want to fight, to stop. I will end with this. I don't want to hear American government or media attack any country for being uncivilized, authoritarian, warmongering, or engaging in political persecution. Any of those negative descriptions, you have no ground to stand on.